Om Gam Ganapatye Namaha. Kaliyugada Kalpataru. Fourth Delight. Sri Vyasa Yati Sarvabhouma. Authored by Raja S. Gururajacharya in Kannada. 11. Childhood Playfulness. Under the loving care and nurturing of Sri Brahmana Tirtharu, Yatiraja grew and thrived. His residence became the Purushottama Hall of Srimatha. There, Brahmana Tirtharu had a beautiful cradle made for him, adorned with white silk sheets, colorful beaded strings, glass ornaments, and various decorations. Every day, Brahmana Tirtharu would swing the cradle while singing hymns and stotras, praising the Lord, delighting Yatiraja. Every morning at sunrise, the Guru would personally bathe the child with warm water, dress him, place a tilak on his forehead, and take him on his lap, gently putting his fingers into the child's mouth. Yatiraja, in his delight, would suck on the Guru's fingers as if drinking milk, completely losing himself in joy. Witnessing this, the household members were amazed and exclaimed, "What a wonder! This child derives more satisfaction and joy from sucking on the Guru's fingers than from drinking his mother's milk." For ordinary people, it is natural to think, how can a child grow without a mother's milk and care? Indeed, this is true for common, worldly children. But our Yatiraja is a blessing and boon from Sri Vyasa, an incarnation of Narayana himself. He is a child born result of Brahmana Tirtharu's penance for divine purpose to uplift humanity, both materially and spiritually. Mainly, he was born to uphold the eternal Vedic Vaishnava virtues, propagate Bhagavata Dharma, serve the knowledge mission of Bhagavan and Vayudeva, and once again vividly reflect the greatness of Hari's devotees in the hearts of good people. Thus, how can a divine child like Prahlada Raja, who incarnated as Yatiraja for such noble purpose, grow with ordinary nurturing like other worldly children? Moreover, Brahmana Tirtharu, who is nurturing Yatiraja, is no ordinary ascetic. He is a great scholar and an enlightened sage. Brahmana Tirtharu, a manifestation of the sun god, the giver of light, health, and life to the world, is in charge of Yatiraja's upbringing. The sun god, who is the lord of all medicines, whose rays are like nectar, is invoked with the mantra Arogyam Bhaskaradvijat. Just as the sun's rays bring health and vitality, it is no wonder that a child raised under the care of Brahmana Tirtharu, an aspect of the sun, grows up healthy. Every day, the entire assembly of Brahmins meditates on the Supreme Narayana, who resides in the center of the solar orb, adorned with bracelets, earrings, and crown, and holding a conch and a discus. With a golden body, Brahmana Tirtharu, blessed by this great Lord, takes on the responsibility of nurturing Yatiraja, feeding him with his fingers that serve as a source of nectar, just like a mother's breast. Therefore, it is appropriate that Yatiraja grew up without needing his mother's milk. In addition, daily Brahmana Tirtharu offers pure milk consecrated to Sri Moola Gopala Krishna Pattabhirama and Vyasa, and feeds it to Yatiraja with his own hands. What more is needed for the child's nourishment? Thus, under the loving care and nurturing of Brahmana Tirtharu, Yatiraja grew healthy and strong, delighting everyone with his playful activities. Sri Brahmana Tirtharu spent all his remaining time with Yatiraja except for the hours dedicated to his daily rituals, worship, and receiving alms. During the early morning and worship times, the sound of Vedic chants, mantras, bells, gongs, and conch shells performed by the scholars of the monasteries would delight Yatiraja. While Brahmana Tirtharu was immersed in his rituals, the baby's bright eyes would eagerly look for him. Yatiraja's body and mind would yearn for the sweet embrace of his Guru, and his ears would long to hear the Guru's voice. As soon as he saw the Guru finished with the rituals and approaching him, Yatiraja would joyfully leap, extending his tiny hands in invitation. Brahmanya Tirtharu, filled with joy and affection, would lift the child, place him on his lap, and be delighted by Yatiraja's charming playfulness. Thus, a deep bond of love and affection grew between them, filled with sweet and tender emotions. Yatiraja, shining like the early morning rays of the sun, radiant like the fire of sacrificial offerings, and brilliant like the autumn moonlight, was adorned with divine beauty of Sri Keshava. His body had a lovely rose tint, and he looked enchanted in his cradle, shaped like a celestial vehicle. His appearance reflected the calm and discipline of a saintly child, resembling the auspicious dawn light and gleam of fire. He sparkled like a sea of gold and wore beautiful gold necklace with yellow protective beads around his neck. In the middle of the necklace was a pendant shaped like a tiger claw, encrusted with gold. Yatiraja often played by sucking his big toe, a gesture symbolizing the future victory over scholars and his readiness to guide them. He would lift his legs and play, as if preparing from the time when kings and emperors would bow at his feet, touching their crowns to his feet in reverence. He occasionally placed his lotus like thumb in his mouth, indicating his future role as a great ascetic. Sometimes he clenched his lotus like fists, as if declaring his mastery over all scriptures and doctrines. Yatiraja would also occasionally cry out in a deep voice like thunder, symbolizing his future ability to intimidate all false doctrines and heresies. A white silk curtain was draped around the top of his cradle, resembling moonlight. Below it clung a charming parrot swinging, adorned with a garland of green beads, set with various colored gems, crystals, and mirrors. Yatiraja would gaze at it and laugh joyfully. Thus he spent his childhood in playful delight and joy. Now Yatiraja entered his second year. He was dearly beloved by everyone in the monastery. His golden complexion, well built and attractive physique, broad forehead, curly blue black hair, arched eyebrow like a bow, small ears, shining eyes like lightning, neat nose, and full rosy lips all reflected his future youthful beauty. It was no wonder that everyone loved and adored this beautiful child, who seemed like a divine being descended to earth. Brahmanya Tirtharu had instructed the trusted members of the monastery to take good care of Yatiraja while he was engaged in his worship and other duties. They would carry the child and play with him. Yatiraja would move gracefully from one lap to another, smiling innocently like a swan moving from one lotus to another, or the moon traveling from one constellation to another. Watching the child, with his sturdy build like that of an elephant or lion, toddle around the courtyard of Purushottama Hall was a sight to behold. His radiant charm made it seem as if he was practicing swimming in the pool of his own brilliance. Yatiraja's beautiful face, with a hint of a smile, showed his pearly teeth like a drop of nectar on a lotus or a string of pearls. His first words, like buds of eloquence, hinted at his future renown as a speaker. Holding the Guru's finger firmly, Yatiraja would take gentle steps, as if the earth found it difficult to bear his growing weight. Despite his young age, he demonstrated his proficiencies with words by repeating the names Rama, Krishna, and Hari, taught by Brahmanya Tirtharu, showing his dedication to his Guru's teachings from an early childhood. In the evenings, Brahmanya Tirtharu would carry Yatiraja in the courtyard, playing with him while the child, gazing at the moon, would insist, "Give me the moon," and if wanting to compete with the brilliance with his own fame. Thus, Yatiraja developed his unique playfulness and charm as he grew into his second year. Om Sri Krishnarpanamastu.